great being here this morning, y'all. And how about, are we going to get one of those Slido things for the Chile Calais this morning? I think somebody needs to type that in. That was delicious. This is a great program because it's super important that we come together and we look for solutions of how we can spread opportunity equitably across our community. Opportunity has a tendency to pull around those who already have it. I don't think that that is I think that it is a shared goal of everyone in this room. I believe I'm preaching to the choir, that it's important for us to figure out ways to widen the circle of opportunity. It doesn't widen on its own. It never will. It takes human beings working collectively and reaching out to one another and understanding people in other parts of town, in other houses, understanding our neighbors, truly building community in order to get opportunity to truly circulate in ever-widening circles. It will not do it on its own. The business community is extremely important to us, as is government. Business cannot get opportunity to circulate more widely on its own. As a matter of fact, business predominantly is concerned with business, and it is looking for, quarterly report that looks good. And it, by nature, will have a hard time assisting with a greater and wider circulation of opportunity. Government exists to spread opportunity and get the circles of opportunity ever widening. We are living in a time when there is a pervasive mythology on, frankly, the right and the left, that government is at least incompetent, if not corrupt. Government is us. So that mythology is a self-loathing that we must end. Rather than turning your back on government by saying it's at least incompetent, if not corrupt, I'm not going to have anything to do with it anymore. I'm going to go totally local. I'm only going to hang out with my friends and people who think like me. I'm going to stay in the Shire with the other hobbits, and I'm going to ignore Smaug and Mordor because it's just too difficult to look at. They're evil, they're awful, and so I'm just going to hang out with my peeps. That's exactly the opposite of what we should be doing. That is exactly the opposite of the collectives that are going to be necessary for us to get our incredible wealth as a community, as a city, as a county, as a region, as a state, as a country, as a world. To get that opportunity spread throughout the community, it's going to take us to lean in. We're going to have to leave the Shire, y'all. We're going to have to ride out on our fat little ponies and go figure out what to do. So it's collectives like this, it's opportunities like this that are so important. So just on the issue of housing and where we've been as a community, I know that we're going to be speaking and learning a lot today about where we've been and how we got here, and about the kind of tools that we might consider in order to spread that opportunity and get these kinds of resources more readily available. I will ask you, as we look at the history of how we got here, don't flinch. Look at it head on. Some of this stuff is hard to accept, the role that we and people like us before us have played in creating really systemic and institutional barriers. We must look. As we look, I also ask you, do not harden up. It's our hardening up. It's our natural tendency to harden up and stand behind barricades and say, this was awful, and we got here this way, and that sucked, and now I'm angry. Anger is great for motivating, but don't let it cut you off from good ideas. Don't let it cut you off from even considering something that that may be a great idea. I'll give you a couple of examples from my own life. I'm going to follow my own sword here. When I first ran for elective office, we were in a hot debate over toll roads. I was angry and I did not want to see tolling of our highway infrastructure because I believed then, as I do now, that it would be far more equitable to have a broad-based tax like the gas tax, or even better yet, an odometer tax. Because an odometer tax would reduce our overall VMT and be good for the environment. It's also a better taxation system. It has no leakage because everybody pays into it. Because everyone who, highways actually benefit everyone. Where did this food come from today? It came in a truck on the highway. I got here by bicycle today, which is awesome, but every piece of clothing I'm wearing today came here in a truck on a highway. So, even though I can ride my bicycle and I can ride the bus, highways are important, but I thought gas tax, VMT tax, odometer tax would be far better, and toll roads were super inequitable because it's super expensive to use a toll road, and it was going to create massive inequities. And furthermore, the toll roads were only going in on the east side and in the north. They weren't going in on the west. The west was successful at killing a toll road on 360, and so it was super inequitable, and I hardened up like crazy, and I fought like hell. But here's the thing. The MOPAC managed lane has increased bus ridership exponentially for people who come into Austin to work. 30% of the people who are working in downtown Austin on a given workday are coming from another county. So I had to soften up my view of toll roads and start thinking of them as a conduit to get high-quality commuter transit so that we could have greater equity for those people who can no longer afford to live inside the city of Austin, but they still work here. Because 87% of the MSA drives by themselves in their car to work every day, mostly because they don't have any other option. And for an average family, a car costs $10,000 a year when you consider the car payment, the insurance, the gas, the tolls. So I had to rethink my hardened position with regard to toll roads. And I had to admit to myself that there could be a benefit for the very people I was concerned toll roads would hurt. So I would ask you to keep an open mind as we listen to some of the other possibilities today. I would ask you to consider where you're hardening up. You probably have a really, really good reason for feeling that hardness. But examine it, sit with it, see if it's still legitimate. It probably has an antecedent that is absolutely legitimate and worthy. But what's happening today, or what might happen in the future, might flip your mind and might open up an opportunity that you didn't imagine. None of us know all the answers, but collectively, we will find good answers. So, with that, I'd love to introduce my very good colleague who I love working with. We do really good work together, and even when we disagree, we find some really good solutions. My dear friend, Mayor Adler.